There you go. Okay. So let
Mhm.
me share the screen. So I sent you the PDF a long time ago. Yeah. So we're going to talk
Mhm.
about arts.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the first question is, what types of art do you enjoy? Painting, music, literature, theater, dance, and why? So,
I guess from all these art types from this list, I mostly enjoy literature and probably theater.
mm,
I cannot say that I'm a huge fan of music. I like music, but like in comparison with other people, I don't feel that I need music to live because like there are many people who need it, like to wake up, to work, to go sleep. They can live whole the day with music and cannot live without it. But for
mhm.
me, it's like just benefits. And sometimes I like to listen to the music, but mostly I prefer to, for example, to work in calm environment without any music, without any noises,
Mhm.
and so on. Talking about dance, I cannot say that I'm a fan of dancing. I like to watch dancing.
Mm,
Really like I enjoy, and but I cannot say that I'm willing to dance and I'm like a party horse. And when I listen to music, I always start dancing. No, I can like just to like feel it and watch how other people dancing.
yeah. But
And
do you hate dancing? Would you say?
uh, hey,
Yeah, you hate it.
no, I cannot say that I hate dancing, and but I don't like I don't like to be in the spotlight, and I can dance when I'm alone, and for me it's absolutely okay. And sometimes I even enjoy it, but I don't like to dance in public places. And that's so funny because my sister, she's a dance star, like I cannot say that she's profi, but she's like dancing so much, and she also like music, and because um, I guess she listened to music all the day because when she wake up, she turn on music. She listen to music when she working, and she listen to music when she go sleep, and so on. And her children, they also I guess they get it from her, like this love to music and dance. And so, yeah, we are completely different from this point of view because she hates reading and she's far from being a fan of theater. So, yeah, we kind of different sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, you're on different ends of the spectrum for
Yeah, yeah.
sure. Mhm. Okay, nice. Is there any other type of art that's not listed that you like?
Talking about painting, they also noted it here. I like paint. I love painting as a type of art, kind of art, sort sort of art. Yeah, I like watching, and I cannot say that I'm deeply in painting, and I know a lot of authors, but I simply like to like view a picture, try to understand what was the author idea. And when I was a kid, I also visited an art school where it wasn't professional art school, but it was like I don't know how it's called in English. In Russian, it's kruzhok. Like that's like an additional class in school where you can paint, and it was kind of like this.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I enjoy painting and probably crocheting. I guess it also sort of art. uh,
Yeah, of course it is.
yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's of course my top. Yeah, but from this list, I guess literature is my top. My top. Top lovely type of art.
Yes, your top art would be literature. Yes. Okay.
Mhm. And
Uh,
what about you?
Me, let's see. I don't know. I think I like more painting. Yeah,
Mhm.
painting I like a lot. I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to do those types of things. But I think my favorite type would be portraits. Yeah, portraits of people.
Mm.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. Music, I like listening to music, but I'm not the type to share music. I'm like very
Mm,
horrible about that. I don't like to put on music when there's people around. I don't like to share my playlist. I'm not that type of music person that kind of throws the music in other people's face.
yeah.
I have to listen to my favorite band. No, I don't do that. I have my own music that I like to listen
Yeah,
to.
yeah, the same story. I also am not a person who like to share my playlist. I guess it for me it's so private. That's
Yeah.
only for me.
Exactly, exactly. And then when I'm working, I put on music, but I try not to put on like music that disturbs me, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes even just nature noises, I like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. That's fine. But just pure silence, no, I think I kind of go crazy like that. How you
Mm-hmm.
like to work in silence, right? Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you
Yeah, I'm a fan of silence, and it also was so weird for my husband because he's a
yeah.
person who needs, like he always start watching some videos or listen to something, some news or even music, and for him it was so weird that I'm always working in silence, and he always hear just only like this noise from keyboard without any other words or music or anything like that.
Yeah. It's not bad being in silence. I think sometimes we need it because the music is a
Hmm.
little too much sometimes. Yeah. Literature is good too, but I don't read that much nowadays. I used to read a lot when I was younger. I think it was more important when I was a child because it
Mm-hmm.
was like a big deal. It was like if you read, you're exercising your brain and you're going to be very smart when you grow up. So literature reading was bigger for me when I was younger. Now it's like
Hmm.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
The problem. Hmm. Dance
Okay.
is not bad either, but I don't think I like watching dancing. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Uh-huh.
I like to dance, but it's just my own thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Number two, have you ever created a piece of art? If so, what was your experience like?
Um, talking about my art, crocheting arts,
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
created a lot of stuff. I guess probably some paintings I created when I was a kid, but recently I cannot say that I do it a lot, and like I can do some sketches when I'm thinking about something or during some boring meetings. Yeah, I usually do some kind of sketches, but I cannot say that this is piece of art, of course.
Oh,
Um, and when I was younger, I write not poems, but let me check how it's called in English
okay.
because I don't know.
Yes.
Mm, Oh, I was writing poetry. Yeah,
Oh,
when I was younger. Yeah, and I even was published in some magazines and also in our school magazine. Yes,
wow. Mm-hmm.
really. Yeah, and actually, my dream was to be a journalist, but my mom told me like, "Do you want to be a poor person?" Because yeah, in Belarus, it's not so like well-paid type of profession, and she advised me not to go this way, and so that I became a teacher, programmer, and right now I'm designer, and I'm quite okay with that, but I truly enjoyed this process of writing poetry, and it was so easy for me. And like I still till now, I'm thinking about something, and I can like create. I can tell some stories in poetry manner. I don't know if I'm not sure if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
In a poetic way. Yeah, you're able
Yeah,
to.
in poetic way. Yeah. And I also enjoy, like just writing some stories. And I can say that I'm quite my interest to journalism is on and off. So sometimes I can write a lot of like small pieces of text, and sometimes I forget about this, and I simply because usually you don't have enough time to do that this style. But yeah, I truly enjoy writing.
Oh, wow. So poems, that's nice. Were they like long poems or short ones?
No, it's kind of short novels, I would say.
Oh,
And
mm.
when I was a kid, I also write in fairy tales, and I usually read them to my father, and he was laughing so much about it because they all were quite funny.
Oh, that is so cute. That's very nice. Were you inspired by like books that you would read or like
Yeah,
were
I guess like it was a mix of books and reality, and I also
mm,
enjoy being with my grandmother because she lived in the middle of nowhere, and it was absolutely a special place for me. And she lived near the forest, and the atmosphere there was so inspiring for me. So when usually when I came from my grandma, I started writing something and then I read it to my father.
oh, that's so nice. Yeah. So you had like your favorite activity to do, write
Yeah,
and read it out loud. Yes.
yeah.
Did you save any of those stories or
I have, yeah, I still have several stories, and I guess the huge part of my poetry. I I cannot say that directly remember where I save it, but I read it probably 2 years ago, and I even read it to my husband, and he was quite inspired and yeah, and thrilled that I did it.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. When it comes to writing, the only thing I've done was journaling. Yeah, that was like
Hmm.
my activity. And I would journal every single day from like the age of, I don't remember, I think 10. Yeah, I was really young when I started journaling and I would just
Oh, wow.
collect. But unfortunately, that's one of those things that we don't do anymore. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like a lost activity. I want
Hmm.
to pick it back up again, but I have nothing to write about. So
Yeah,
I kind of
but
just
you
stopped.
work, but you was so dedicated, like a day by day doing journaling because I usually journal in my days when I have, like a quite tough time when you need to organize your minds, and in these times, journaling is a great way, like to help yourself.
Yes, yes. So I think what happened was that, I believe in that. We kind of write to escape our problems or,
Yeah,
to,
sure.
just explain ourselves. But now it's like I don't think I want to live my life. I want to live my problems. Like I want to
Yeah,
live in the
sure.
reality. And I think I was writing too much, and so it's
Hmm.
kind of like an escape. So it's not a bad thing that I dropped it, but it's nice because I have like a stack of books. So sometimes I like to read the ones from when I was a child. Because some of the ideas and the thoughts are just
That's
crazy.
so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just so funny. So yeah. Other pieces of art, I would draw and paint. So, like my mom has like some of my little paintings in her room and things like that. But usually I don't like to keep anything. I usually just give them away or something like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's it. Okay, so number three, how often do you visit museums, galleries, or attend artistic performances?
Oh, when I was in Belarus, I visit an art museum quite often because I like the atmosphere there, and there were they I guess they changed exhibition once in 3 months, and for me it was like pleasure just to visit a new exhibition or even just revisit an old one because I had like favorite paintings, and I just enjoy being there because the atmosphere there is something that make me happy. And my husband also attended these museums with me. And talking about galleries, unfortunately, we don't have so much galleries in Belarus. Like usually they're quite small, and that's not so interesting to revisit them again. And so I'm so jealous when I see all these galleries in America, especially in New York, and because my friend she moved to New York, and she sometimes give me some shots from her visits, and of course it feels so amazing. And actually I'm not a fan, like of historical museums and so on. I can visit them, but this is not something what inspiring me a lot. Probably it depends on museum itself, because when we were in Dresden, the museum there was absolutely adorable. It's so interesting, and the architecture there is it's truly impressive.
Mhm.
But in Belarus, the historical museum, that's not something what I want to visit again, because it almost dedicated to war things. And I know that you as a person who came from this, like historical background, you need to know all this story. But yeah, I guess each Belarusian person visited this museum for, I guess, at least 10 times when we were in school. And so right now I prefer not to visit it again, because I remember the story, and that's not so interesting for me.
That makes sense. Yeah, if you've
Yeah.
seen it many times, you don't want to go back. Hmm.
Yeah, because nothing changed in this story, like you know everything that you need to know, and like to I guess there is no needness to remain yourself about this story again and again and again, because like you're always surrounded with this background, especially in Belarus, because we have a lot of let me check
Go ahead.
Oh, monuments. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
have a lot of monuments in the city, and so they always remind you about your story. And so, yeah.
Interesting. Every country is very different, and some of them have museums that are just mainly about war because that's like the country's main
Yeah.
um history. So it depends. Like here we have a lot of those museums too, but not a lot of people like to visit that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So we learn about it in school. So it's
Yeah.
boring. Yeah.
And when I visit some probably new countries or new cities, I prefer, like just to enjoy the country and the city itself, and not to visit in museums, because of course that's great to know the history of this place. But probably when you visit this place first time, you need just to, like to get to know it better before, like diving into the history background, because you need to just enjoy what you see right now and feel it. And probably if this third time when you are in this city, probably that's the time to visit some museums. But when it first time, I prefer not to spend my time just to go to museum, because the architecture and people in the streets are more interesting to me than museums.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't, yeah, I don't really go to museums when I visit other countries, except for Italy. Italy is like one of the only places where it's,
Mhm.
you run into a museum. Like
Yeah,
the Rome is a complete outdoor museum, so you have no choice.
yeah, yeah,
But other countries, no. hmm Now, so you said your friend in New York sent you pictures of art museums, or what kind of museum?
yeah.
Yeah.
She sent me pictures of different exhibitions, because I guess there are quite many different galleries in New York City, and she just give me like kind of shots from these exhibitions, like oh, look how it looks, oh, look how many people, oh, look how they like just to feel the look and feel of this place. And yeah, so for me it feels so impressive, because you see these absolutely amazing buildings with all these pictures and quite trendy people around her. And yeah, that's sometimes it's even hard to accept that this reality, and this is in this planet, and this is not a scene from the movie, and this is part of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think in New York it's a very cool, like chic type of vibe with the art and everything. So I always
Yeah.
wonder about the art museums over there. I think there's been a lot of artists out there that have created a lot of
Mhm.
art and stuff like that. So it's
Mhm.
very modern. It's very nice. Here in LA, I'll show you a picture of the museum. Here in LA, we have the Broad Museum.
Uh-huh.
Broad Museum, and it's kind of new. I think I opened in 2015. That's when I opened. So it's kind of new, and it's very different from New York, I think. So this is what the outside looks like.
Oh,
Construction is very
so
smart.
modern.
Yeah, it's very modern. The construction is very smart. It has like an Oculus right here. And when you go inside, this is what it looks like. It's very strange. You go up the escalator, and then we have like a lot of different art from all over the world. A lot of
Oh,
modern
I wish
art.
one day I could visit it because it
Yeah,
looks so impressive.
I recommend it. It's a really nice place. We also have like the
Oh,
adjustable like
yeah.
balloon animals. We have different kinds of it. We have this giant like table with chairs, and so it's very smart. But we also have Andy Warhol and we have Basquiat, and they're from New York. So we have some pieces from New York too. So it's a really
Um,
impressive place. Hmm.
oh my gosh.
Yes, and the most famous exhibition is this one. I think this is from like a Japanese
Right?
artist. They're kind of like, yeah, they're lights, but it's like an infinity room. So there's a bunch of mirrors, so it looks like you're in like the galaxy. And I think only one person can go inside at a time, or two people. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so that way you can have this like experience, in the
Mhm.
infinity. This is very Instagram worthy. This place. A lot of people love to take pictures here. It's very nice. It's spectacular. So yeah, I recommend it. Mm-hmm. There you go. All right.
Like you show me this image and I have these goosebumps on my hands.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you come, you got to put that on your, what is it, bucket list? Yeah. Your,
Yeah, sure, definitely. I wish one day we could visit in America, and I totally would like to visit this place, of course.
yeah. All right. Number 4. How does art reflect the culture and values of a society?
Mm. I guess an art and the society itself are
Oh,
inseparable.
yes.
Yeah,
There you
inseparable. Yeah,
go.
because usually, I guess they reflect both each on other, and because when people, like struggling with something, it always reflect on the art. And for example, even talking about this wartime, you can see how this atmosphere and the minds of people were depicted in their art. And art itself also reflects on people, because art reflect their cultures. Yeah. So when people because for people the art is a way to express themselves. So when they are suffering from something, they express themselves through the art. So for example, music could be harder, like more with I don't know, like a high notes, and like more dramatic and so on. And art also probably could be darker, or probably, like when you see on it, you feel this not negative and energetic, but you feel the pain of the people who created it. And so I guess it always reflects the state of minds of the society and of the people, because this is the way how we express ourselves. It's another way that, like it's another way you can use to express yourself, beside the words, because you can just that's I have the idea, but it is so
Mhm.
hard to form it.
Together.
Yeah. Uh,
Mhm.
so you can use the art instead of words to say what you feel right now. So I guess art always reflects what people feel in the particular moment. And then like it also shows probably the level of education of people, because the more the more educated society can produce the more interesting art probably. And talking about the less educated society, it always reflects on the art they produce. So for example, if we watch on the arts from Africa, it's usually quite simple and not so I know like great, not gracious, not so beautiful, not so complex, and it usually simple, and it reflects the society where it was made. You know, like just simple society with a basic level of needs and with a basic level of ambitious, I guess.
Yeah, those are really interesting points. I think you brought up a lot of interesting ones. Yeah, so art does reflect, the society in many different ways. Like emotionally, some art is depicted as like very dark, maybe depressing, and you
Mhm.
feel how the people felt at that moment in history.
Yeah,
And then at the same time, yeah, it's interesting how you said like different cultures, different communities, they have different types of art based on maybe their education or intellectual
yeah,
level, perhaps, or something like that. And that's true. So some art is maybe more primitive, like more
yeah.
caveman, like maybe more simple. And that can reflect different things about the community. I'm not
And
just
I guess it also highly connected to how it's connected to education of people, because you know, like when you are more educated and your basic level of needs are covered, you want to express yourself. You want to be admitted by people around you, and you need to find, you know, like new ways how to express yourself and how to be famous or how to be successful and how to reach this admission from the society. And in this way, you need to practice more, you need to create more intelligent type of art, more complex, more interesting, and find new ways. So that's why probably not the art is flourishing in this high educated society, simply because the people have desire to express themselves in more interesting way, and they have this needness and urge to be admitted by the society around them.
Yeah. So do you think like the higher society appreciates art more or is more interested in
Uh,
art?
Probably yes, because you know, like they don't need they have this luxury of having a time to enjoy art. Because when you live in Africa, your only your main concern is to stay alive, and you know, to find food, to you know, to build house, to run from the lion, and so on. But when you're living in a high educated society, and you have this time to enjoy art and you have time to create art, so that's why probably it's more interesting in this high educated society.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, I think. Even in modern time, I think rich kids, for example, they go to art school because they have the money
Yeah, sure.
and they have the time to do it.
Yeah,
But the problem is that a lot of poor, lower income people, they don't have the money or the time to do that because they have to work, right? So
of
it's kind
course.
of like a different setup of life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Okay, number five. Can you think of an artwork that has had a significant impact on your culture? A piece of art.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm, about specific artwork.
Is there any or no?
I guess there nothing came to my mind with this question, and yeah, probably something where was existed that impact that leave a huge impact on our culture, but I cannot, you know, like just to pick out a specific type of artwork.
Okay. Is there an artwork that has impacted your life that in general? Yeah, like
I guess probably some books what I've read they made a huge they changed my life from some point, because when I got divorced I started to work to read a lot of books about psychology, about, you know, like this your child trauma bonds, and it helped me to realize what I've done wrong, or what was the reason for specific actions what I did. And yeah, I cannot say that it was one specific book. I guess the knowledges accumulated from different books, they changed my life, and they changed me as a person. Not completely, but they helped me to cover some gaps in my mind, or like to improve some weaknesses and flaws.
Yes. Well, that's good. Yeah, so those books have been able to guide you in life, able to steer
Yeah.
you a different path, different way. So that's good. Yeah. And they're memorable. Yeah. I've had some books too where it's like I became kind of a different person, I guess, because of the influence of the book. So
Yeah.
it's a nice feeling. Yeah. Well, here in American culture, there's a lot of different artwork. We also have war pieces too, like from the colonial times,
Mhm.
that old stuff. But the only thing for some reason that's coming to mind is like some of our monuments. Yeah. So like
Made
the
of liberty.
the Lady of Liberty, yeah. But here in LA or in California, we have things like the Hollywood sign. We have a statue. We have various statues. Even like the cemeteries, for example, are very impressive too, because they have statues of like the famous people
Mhm.
as well. And then the architecture is also very important. I think that's
Mhm.
the kind of artwork that impacted our culture a little bit of how
Mhm.
we live, of what we like, our aesthetic, those types of things. Yeah. All right. So number 6, how does art influence your emotions and mood?
Oh, I'm actually it highly influenced me, because I'm quite emotional person, and I could easily start crying when I read some history or even short story about something that happened. And for me, it was so hard when I was at school. We had like specific period when we read a lot of tragic books. And for
Mhm.
me, it was nightmare, because I had to, sometimes teacher asked pupils uh, to to tell the story from their point of view. And for me, it was insane, because when I start talking and describe the story, I immediately start crying. And for me, it was so ashamed. Yeah, like you start crying around this class, and sometimes kids could be quite rude. And yeah, so I was quite worried about this stuff. So yeah, I'm highly emotional. And when I listen to some music, especially when I listen to violin, it always so dramatic, and this influenced me. And talking about like a good positive emotions, it also helps me sometimes, like a funny story, or just nice pictures around me. They always help me to feel better, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They also help me feel better sometimes too.
Mhm.
Books are emotional, yeah, especially like big pieces, literature pieces.
Yeah.
They're kind of emotional. Yeah. Luckily here in the United States, we don't really read like tragic books or anything like that, like tragedies, because it's a little too
Mhm.
much for us. I think like the
Uh-huh.
most depressing one that we have is like anything from Edgar Allan Poe. Do you know that author?
Oh yeah, of course,
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
he's depressing. So, we'll probably read like one poem from him, and then that's as depressing as we get.
And I guess almost like each third author from Russia, Belarusian, and like these post-Soviet Union countries, they all write tragedy books, and that's just a few comedies there, and the most of them, especially talking about years of war or before that, they always full of these tragic stories of people's life. And yeah, it's so hard to read them sometimes, but sometimes I enjoy doing that, because simply because like it evoke your emotions, and
Mhm.
that's interesting to read about them, and it also teach you something depending on book.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we need to provoke those emotions. It's necessary. Because sometimes we become a little bit numb, I think. So we kind of have to
Yeah,
push ourselves a little bit.
yeah, I agree.
Another thing I think is films. We talked a little bit about movies and films, but
Oh, yeah.
films also,
Mhm.
but more the classic ones. The classic ones are very emotional. It's very
Yeah.
different from like the newer films because it's harder for the newer films to give me some sort of feeling, or at
Mhm.
least the feeling doesn't last as long as like the more classic films.
Yeah, yeah, agree.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So let's skip this one. Okay, so let's do number 8. So how can art be used as a form of therapy or emotional expression? More so therapy. How can it be a form?
Um, like a lot of psychologists suggest to try an art therapy
Mhm.
when you try to express yourself using these drawing methods, like you use different colors, different like tools to draw your emotions or just what you feel. And they also use it as a diagnostic tool, like your art art pieces. And I guess that's a great way to, like just to get rid of something from your head when you use the art to express yourself. And it could help you to clear the air in your head oh, when you feel too pressure, or, like when everything goes wrong in your life, the art could help you to feel better. And talking about journaling, it also helped a lot of people. And many people I know, they even publish their journals after, like finishing some specific periods of time, because for many people, that's a great way to read this, like publishing journal, and understand that you are not alone with your difficult stories, with your tough times. And there are a lot of people around you who went through probably the same emotion, at least emotions. I cannot say that somebody can reproduce the same conditions, but emotions, of course. And so yeah, I guess the art is a great way to help you when you need help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, as a form of therapy, it help in many different ways. Even what you draw also
Yeah.
reflect like your traumas or what you're like focused on mainly or your anxiety. So a lot of people
Mhm.
like to use it like that, especially with children. I hear they do it a lot with children that, have
Mhm.
trauma or problems, they draw a lot. So you can see a lot of what they're worried about in their drawings.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, sure.
That's true, yeah. And so it's good. During the pandemic, I remember coloring books are popular. Do you remember that? Was that like a thing in your
Which book?
coloring books? Coloring books?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
coloring books are these books with black and white drawings and you color them in.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's the favorite type of books of my childhood.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Every kid, yeah, always try. During the pandemic, though, it was like a trend again. So a lot of adults were
Oh,
doing coloring books because it
yeah.
helps with anxiety. They had very specific ones with a lot of designs that you can color in.
Yeah. They created specific books for adults, like with this complex patterns with a lot of pieces. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it was to help with anxiety. And I remember I tried it for a little bit. It was pretty good. So
But
yeah.
it is my friend even gifted me one of these type of books, and I even tried to do this stuff, but it wasn't be quite successful, because I usually find it more interesting and like entertainment for myself.
Oh, you find it more like entertainment than like,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, I see. Yeah, for me, it didn't go far, but when I was a kid,
Mhm.
I used to love it. Very good. All right, let's see. Let's skip that one. Let's do number 10. So what role should art play in education? Should it be mandatory subject in schools?
Uh, I believe yes, like at least for kids, young kids, because as you mentioned before, for
Mm.
many children, this is a great way how to express themselves, because they haven't, they don't have enough practice in saying words aloud, and sometimes it's hard to find the right words to say what they feel inside. And in this way, this art the art itself could be a great way for them to show the teachers around them or their parents or just like people around them what they feel inside. And for example, even like to ask for help through their art, because it's hard to for kids sometimes to just to form their ideas and like to, to ask something.
Yeah.
And it also teaches them, like to the arts help them to expose themselves to the world around them. And like when you're kid, you can probably find the way you want to follow in the future. So, for example, not many parents, I guess, spend a lot of time, like showing different types of art to their kids. So who would do that beside the school, like because in school we learn that there is a music and there is a painting and there is a literature, and you as a kid could choose what is your preference, what you want to go with in the future. And I guess it's great that for now we save this type of subjects in school, because simply because many parents don't spend much time for teaching their kids, like di different types of art.
That's true. There's some parents that don't see any value in it, so
Yeah.
they don't show it. But there's different types of arts too. They don't consider that. So maybe
Hmm.
it's fit for other types as well. So
Yeah.
so when you were going to school, did you have art classes?
Yeah, we have music, we have painting, and this painting helps me to understand, helped me to understand that I'm a person who willing to draw something by myself, and that's my passion. And also, till the like high school, we have a literature classes with a lot of books, and it also was a great way for me to understand that I'm a truly natural reader and I enjoy this process. Yeah, so yeah, we had a lot of subjects related to art. We have, like uh, it's hard to translate to English how this how this subject was called. Like this was a subject where we it was in a high school, and we learned the art of the different countries and the different ages, and it was truly interesting. I enjoy this process.
Art history, maybe? Art history?
Art history? No, I guess not. Let
Okay.
me check. Um,
World art history, maybe.
yeah, probably yes. If I would translate it word by word,
Yes, what would it
would
be?
be culture. World art culture. Oh, that's so hard to pronounce. Oh, world art
Cool.
culture.
World art culture, yes.
My
Okay.
gosh.
I think here we would call that world art history. Yeah. But that's nice that you had that in high school, right? High school?
Yeah, in high school, because like we learned a lot of quite complex topics, and there were a lot of epochs of the world. And for me, I guess the huge part of my class hated this lesson, but for me, it was truly enjoyable moment. I always was waiting for it so much, because
Uh-huh.
each minute of this classes was enjoyable for me.
Oh, that's sad that they didn't appreciate it because here in the United States we don't
Yeah.
have that. We world art history is not until like college or university. But it's
Oh.
like it's not a mandatory thing. It's just something you take if
Mhm.
you want to.
Mm.
So that's kind of sad. Yeah, here in the United States, I think art is always like a debatable thing, like whether children should have it in school and how much. And so they're always fighting to
Mhm.
have more art. But I
Mhm.
think private schools, the ones with that parents have to pay for, they
Mhm.
focus a lot on art, music and painting and all this kind of stuff. But in elementary school, we do some art projects, but it's very limited. And in a
Mhm.
middle school, again, even more limited. You can do
Mhm.
music, but it's not mandatory. It's like an option
Mhm.
for you.
Mhm.
And then in high school, it's like even more limited. You get to decide if you want to take one art class, but only one. And then I don't think you can take music. I think you can only take one art. And then for reading, I think it's extremely limited in high school. So sometimes you're
Really?
not even allowed to read in class. Like if you have a personal book, you can't take that out and start reading. The teacher will yell at
Oh,
you.
really? That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
So sometimes teachers will have like a 30-minute reading, like free time. It's our free time. And they would give it to us, as like a gift sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
take out our books and read. But if it's not on like the kind of the district education plan, you're not allowed to learn that kind of stuff. So here,
That's so interesting because in the high school, I guess we had at least 4 literature classes per week. Two
mhm.
of them were in Russian language, and two of them were in Belarusian language. And usually was full of books, and like we have a lot of assignments to read all the books. And many people were struggling with this, but for me, it was absolutely okay. I enjoyed this stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. It's very different here. It just becomes more and more restricted. So
Mm,
when you become an adult, you go off to college, it's important to invest into that education yourself. You have to
mm.
give
It's quite
yourself
that
self-education.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, it's tough, I think, here a little on
Mhm.
that spectrum. But, yeah. All right. So we finished now. Let me stop everything.